Hey everybody, Ted Jordan here, your favorite author of The Restorer, The Power of Deception. That's right, it's another time for another vlog. And today we're going to be talking about who Rashida Elizabeth Omar, who becomes the first female president of the United States in the novel, The Restorer, The Power of Deception. Who is she based on? President Barack Obama. That's who she's based on. Why? Because back in 2007, when then candidate Barack Obama was running for office and eventually won again, he won 2 terms. For those of you who've been around, you know that. For those of you who are just getting around, well, now you know. So again, he's the first black president of the United States, although his mother is or was white, Caucasian, and his father was African. And from Africa. And he spent time over in Africa. So there was a lot of questions about whether he was actually born here in the United States or not. A legitimate question, although a rushed birth certificate was, rushed to the public so everyone could see that he was actually legitimate and he could actually be president of the United States. There was a lot of people who called those other folks who wanted actual proof bigots, racists, and all these other sorts of things. But again, as I mentioned in a previous vlog, that the founders of the Constitution, the founding fathers, wanted to make sure that no foreign influence could take over our country because they had come from a monarchy. And we live in a republic, which means that the people vote in their leadership. And if you want to go further into what a republic is, go ahead and do your research. I admonish you to do so. That way you know for yourself and not just taking someone else's word for it. All right, so again, Rashida Elizabeth Omar is based upon President Barack Obama, who once he got into office, well, let me back up a little bit. Before he got into office, he was very vague. He had these lame campaign slogans, yes, you can, and change we can believe in, and all this other kind of stuff, which means absolutely and meant absolutely nothing until he got into office. Then it was the change that we didn't want. He tried to get a Muslim stamp in. In and of itself, it's not bad, but what U.S. president promotes one religion over another? As a leader of the free world in the United States, that president, he or she, represents all of the people of the United States. Now, if he happens to be a Muslim, okay. If he happens to be a Christian, okay. But again, understanding that you represent all of the people's best interests according to the Constitution and really ultimately the Bible really is where I'm going at with this. So again, a Muslim stamp, then he goes over to Saudi Arabia. He bows to the Saudi king. Now, what does that mean? When you bow to someone, that means you're subservient to them. A U.S. president doesn't bow to anyone because he is the leader of our country. They shake hands, they may hug, they may even high five, but no one bows one to another because that means you're underneath them. So these were very strange goings on with this particular president, and no one wanted to ask the question. And I thought that was very fascinating, and I thought it was story worthy, and that's why President Rashida Elizabeth Omar is based on Barack Obama. I thought it was very fascinating and very telling in reference to that. The news media didn't want to get into any real facts, and it's even worse today, right? So you don't really get the truth from the news media anymore. You have, tech giants not wanting to get out the truth. They want to send a particular narrative, and if you question that narrative, whether it's vaccines, whether it's Hunter Biden, whatever, they don't want you to know the truth. But the truth is always out there, and the truth will set you free. And once you know the truth, then you can't go back to living a lie and listening to people telling you lies any longer. And that's the whole point of this thing. God doesn't lie and he cannot fail. God is always in control no matter who's in the White House. And that's the whole point of the book, The Restorer, The Power of Deception, giving men and women the opportunity to revisit their faith, to be encouraged, to stand up for righteousness' sake, and to, challenge the men and women who want to be leaders over us to do the right thing according to what the Word of God actually says. If you'd like to get the book, by all means do. It's The Restorer, The Power of Deception.com. That's the website, The Restorer, The Power of Deception.com. If you want to email me, you can do that at Jordan at The Restorer, The Power of Deception.com. Jordan at The Restorer, The Power of Deception.com. That's JORDAN at The Restorer, The Power of Deception.com. Please share and like this YouTube channel. And until next time, friends, we'll talk again soon.